Welcome to Sound Bites. I'm Digital Director at the Daily Memphian, Holly Whitfield, and I am here with our producer, Natalie Van Gundy. This week, we're going to talk about cheese. It was National Cheese Day on June 4th. We also just put out a giant series about Memphis pizza, cheese being famously a part of pizza. So that's what we're going through today, and I am hungry just looking at our little list of topics. If you don't know, Soundbites is the Daily Memphian's weekly food, drink, and dining podcast. You can tune in on WYXR Radio every Thursday at 11, or of course you can listen wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes or Spotify, or you can just listen on the website, dailymemphian.com. If you are listening on WYXR, you're extra cool. Congrats to you. And up next, you can listen to the Sidebar podcast with Daily Memphian CEO Eric Barnes. This week, he is interviewing Chef Kelly English and music producer I Make Mad Beats. They're co-hosting the Le Bon Appetit event this weekend, fundraiser for Le Bonheur, that Natalie and I talked about for a long time on last week's Sound Bites. And Eric has sat down with Chef Kelly and I Make Mad Beats to get even more details. But let's get started with all things cheese. Cheese 901.
Cheese, please.
Cheese, please. Natalie, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm really excited about this topic in its simplicity and depth, somehow.
Cheese can be simple or complicated. It's up to you.
It's up to you and to the cheesemongers. That made me think of a really quick story. Years ago, I went on this solo trip to California, which was amazing. It was like what I did right before I started working for the I Love Memphis blog, actually. It was just, I'd never been to California. I wanted to go, rented a car, drove down California one. But in San Francisco, I went to a place that was like, I don't know, whatever the street was, something cheese shop. And and it was also like a little wine bar that served cheese plates. I'd never seen it. This was like 2013. New concept. My mind was blown. I was like, I'm changing careers. I'm going to be a cheesemonger. This is what I want to do. Like, they gave me a little plate. It had these different cheeses on it. It had little pickles, little drink, little wine pairing. Again,
the perfect girl dinner.
It was girl dinner. I was blown away. Then I looked up cheesemongering as a career, and it's very physically demanding and actually really hard to do. So I decided to stick with just talking about cheese and writing about cheese instead. Anyways, I digress. But now in Memphis, we have quite a few places like that, or at least places with great cheese dishes. So you suggested that we talk about our favorite cheesy foods, including pizza, some fun apps, grilled cheeses, but then also get into fancy cheese, where you can get some fancy cheeses in town. Yeah. And then also on the retail side, where you can get great cheese in Memphis. So we've got a lot to discuss.
A lot to cover. I'll be surprised if we get through it all.
Me too. But, let's start with the start. Cheesy appetizers.
Okay, so don't be mad, but I thought of one that's like an at-home version that we didn't talk about before we started rolling, so I'm going to bring it to you and everybody else at the same time. There is something my husband and I do. He loves to smoke all the foods. We will get a wheel of brie, and then you kind of like shave off the top. Mm-hmm. It's got the rind on it. And then we cover it in apricot preserves. Mm-hmm. We sprinkle herbs on that cheese on top of the apricot spread preserves. And then we smoke it, and when it comes out, it's all gooey, cheesy, delicious, smoky. I love it. But in terms of appetizers that you can get at a restaurant, one of my favorites is pretty simple, pretty portable, great little snack, the fried ravioli at Garibaldi's.
I had that this weekend.
How was it?
It was great.
Did you have the cheesy one?
Yeah, 4 cheese ravioli.
Yum. Comes with a little sauce. You dip it in, nice and crispy.
Lots of good places to get toasted ravioli, but I do like Garibaldi's a lot. Actually, I polled the digital desk here at the Daily Memphian real quick, and they threw out some classic Memphis cheese appetizers.
Yeah.
We've talked about these before, I'm sure, but they deserve to be listed. The mozzarella cheese sticks at the Young Avenue Deli, and they're epic breading, thick. I don't even know if it's like panko, but it's like along those lines, like big, thick, browned crumbs, and they're huge. Yeah.
They shouldn't call them cheese sticks. They should be like cheese logs.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just massive.
They're so good. Also, everyone loves the cheese fries from Huey's. I think there's just something about
I do too. I don't even really love their fries in general, but once they're piled with cheese and bacon, I'm suddenly all about it.
And the ranch. Yes.
That ranch is good.
It's good. Of course, we've got queso at Mexican restaurants. In particular, want to talk about Las D. Folks on the desk, we talked about Las Delicias several times when they had their rapid fire interviews on Soundbites. Bringing it up again. People also do like the torchis queso.
They do.
It's real spicy, I feel like.
It's got some heat to it,
Am I misremembering that?
And people will get it on the tacos when they make it trashy.
Yeah, okay. There you go. Yep. Lots of flavor. Barbecue nachos, obviously. Kelsey from the desk says that Central Barbecues are her pick. There's our cheese sauce and like the raw sprinkled cheese.
The
wrong
shredded
word
cheese.
For it. Yeah.
Yeah.
She says go with the classic tortilla chip.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah.
Some people do either, what is it, like, do they do their own potato chip?
Yeah, they do like a kettle chip.
Right.
Like a thick potato chip.
I do it tortilla chip style as well. And I kind of like the cheese sauce as opposed to the if I had to pick one or the other. But they don't make you pick. You do both.
They do both, which also makes it difficult to take a picture of because it just looks like you have a little round red plastic dish full of sprinkled cheese. And I'm like, I promise there's stuff under there. So we are going to talk about a couple of like cheese dishes that we miss. There was one appetizer you were telling me about from Rizzo's.
Yeah. And, you know, it's been a while since they've been closed, so some of the details are a little fuzzy. But I'm pretty sure they called it, like, the Grit and Grind Ball, cool title. And it was basically, let me know if I'm wrong, if you remember this. I remember it being, like, a deep-fried large ball of, maybe it had a goat cheese element to it, too.
That sounds familiar now that you're saying that.
You know, I just know that I loved it, and it had cheese in it, and it was fried and huge.
Amazing. I mentioned at the top, we just did a 3-part, I guess you could call it 4-part series on dailymemphian.com about pizzas in Memphis, pizza guide. We wrote about so many pizza places. There was also a pizza bracket where the people got to vote and choose their favorites. I'll tell you the final 2 and make you go to the website to find the winner. But the final 2 were Memphis Pizza Cafe and Garibaldi's. So no surprise there. But one that I immediately thought of as being especially cheesy that I love, maybe even have mentioned before, is the white pizza from Venice Kitchen, which is so serious. It's Alfredo base with Gouda, Parmesan, mozzarella. That seems standard, but it's also got feta and truffle oil. It's just like a little crusty delight of richness.
Which cheese on that pizza stands out the most to your palate? Is it the feta? Because that's what it would be for me.
I think the feta may be the strongest, but I don't know. Maybe I think like overall, if you take like the full bite, like you're getting a lot of Gouda in there.
Just a cheese symphony.
It is. It really is. So the white pizza is super good. Their spinach dip is super cheesy and also really good. But you don't need to order both because they're real similar to each other.
This is on Perkins, kind of near Novel.
Yes.
Okay.
It used to be called Old Venice. Now it's Venice Kitchen. Did you have a pizza cheesy moment, or should we go straight into sandwiches involving cheese?
Let's go to the sandwiches.
Yes.
Although people should read the pizza guide.
Yeah.
If they haven't already. It was so fun.
All 4 parts. Sandwiches. Sandwiches that have cheese on them, including burgers. We're including burgers.
Including burgers.
Yeah.
Okay. My favorite cheese sandwich is and we've already mentioned it, I just love it so much, the cheese torta at Las Delicias.
Yeah.
So good.
So what else does it have on it? I mean, is it really just like melted
Yeah, you can add
something.
things. But, I mean, all of their sandwiches are really, really good. The Cuban also has cheese on it and is delicious.
Cheese and bread, man. Can't really go wrong with that. I've talked about it before, too. We do have some new things to talk about. But the cheeseburger at Magnolia and May, it's like a double patty, and they do a cheese skirt on it, so they let the, like, cheese melt onto the griddle.
It gets a little
real
crispy.
Good. It's just real good. Yeah.
Is it lacy?
It's lacy. And it's the right size. It's not, like, weird and covering the whole plate. It's just the right amount. So that's what you want to have on a Sunday sometimes, midday, before you're about to take a nap.
There's no doubt about that.
The grilled cheese from the Majestic, excellent grilled cheese.
Do you get that with soup? Like a tomato soup?
You have to.
Yeah.
Yes, it's required.
Oh, we didn't talk about this before, but another place that I've had a good grilled cheese, I think it was Public Bistro.
Yeah.
And they serve it with a tomato soup. It was really good.
Yeah, I like Public Bistro a lot.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that yet, but I will. Of course, there's Say Cheese, the food truck. It's now owned by the people who also own El Mero Taco.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's still around. And when that place first opened, I was like, finally, this is some low-hanging fruit in terms of a food truck. But we didn't have it, and I'm happy we still do.
Yes.
By the brewery, favorite little downtown cafe, they have a brisket grilled cheese that's like cheese on the outside, crispy bread, soft bread, cheese on the inside, brisket. It is a lot.
There's cheese
so
on the
much.
outside of the bread?
I'm pretty sure there's cheese on the outside of the bread too. There's just a lot of cheese. It's amazing. It's a lot. Order it with a friend.
A lot of these cheesy things you probably should order with a friend.
Yeah. A lot of them are a lot, but sometimes you got to treat yourself. One that reminded me, Felicia Suzanne's used to have a brisket grilled cheese that also had like cheese on the outside, but that was more of like a melty. I said brisket. It's short rib. I think it's short rib.
It's a short rib grilled cheese. Okay.
It was, yes. So I don't know if we'll get Felicia Suzanne's back at some point, but I do remember that one. I tried a Monte Cristo the other day, but I think you have a better recommendation. I won't even say where it was, but you have a better recommendation for one.
Okay, my favorite Monte Cristo is from Half Shell. It is so good. It's so big. I'm pretty sure it's got the little powdered sugar on it.
Mm-hmm.
They serve it with honey mustard. But that sandwich is incredible, and it's a part of my college years.
Yes.
So good.
I will have to try that one. Okay. Mac and cheese. Mac and cheese had a big moment.
You think it's gone?
A few years ago. I have not encountered like a very great, amazing mac and cheese at a Memphis restaurant. There are some that had some good dishes at one time. I'm sure I'm missing it. Please tell me where to go. Rest in peace, Lunchbox Eats was a downtown lunch place that was amazing, and you would kind of go in and your food was served on like the lunch trays, and it like had a cute like schoolroom vibe, but their mac and cheese was baked and the top of it was like melty and a little crunchy and still bubbling when you got it, and that was just the best. So Central Barbecue, famously, people always talked about that one as being a great mac and cheese. And now I love Central Barbecue. We've already talked about it once in terms of the nachos.
Right.
I hosted a birthday party last weekend. I got Central Barbecue pork sandwiches, wings, and stuff for catering. Love Central Barbecue, but I think their mac and cheese recipe has changed, or it's different now than it was, say, 10 years ago. I'm sure for very good reasons.
A lot of things are different.
A lot of things are different. And so it's just not hitting. Sorry. Get other things there. Leaves you more room for the meat,
Fantastic
I guess.
Options at Central.
Exactly. But for this very party, I actually just got a big frozen Stouffer's mac and cheese.
And it worked just fine.
It was gone like so fast at this party. And, it was real good. It was good cold later. I don't know. So Tell us where we're missing mac and cheese. I think you said you had tried one.
Yeah, maybe a month or so ago, I went to Rotolo's and I ordered mac and cheese thinking my kid would like it, but it ended up being kind of an adult mac and cheese. The noodles were like big, twisty, and chunky. It was served on a hot cast iron, which right away, my kid can't go near that.
Yeah.
And it was covered in bacon. It was pretty good.
I famously love Rotolo's. I know I've said famously a couple times, but it's cheese.
It's cheese.
So I'll have to try that one. It kind of sounds very similar to their Brussels sprouts dish. Like
Also on a cast iron.
Also on a cast iron with bacon bits, and I think cheese just really good. Before we get into the more fancy cheese side of things, I wanted to remind you you're listening to the Daily Memphian Soundbites podcast with me, Holly Whitfield, and Natalie Van Gundy. Today, we're talking with ourselves about cheese. Honestly, the end. Great work. If you're tuning in on WYXR, please keep listening for the Sidebar podcast with Daily Memphian CEO Eric Barnes. He's interviewing Chef Kelly English and music producer I Make Bad Beats. They are co-hosting Le Bon Appetit food and dining event this weekend, and they have all the deets. If you are listening through your podcast app, be it Spotify, iTunes, or any of the others, be sure to subscribe, leave Natalie a review.
Leave a review, yes.
She'll print it out and frame it and hang it on the wall in our non-existent podcast studio.
In my office.
In her office that she definitely has.
Oh, yeah.
So just wanted to remind you guys of that.
And if you don't do that, but you're a subscriber, you can definitely leave a comment on the article that accompanies this podcast.
On dailymemphian.com.
Right.
Perfect. Okay. Favorite restaurants to order fancy cheeses, cheese boards, that sort of thing.
I don't know the order of the list that we created before we started the podcast, but Knife Bird is a good one.
I love Knife Bird, period. But definitely they've got great options for their cheese and charcuterie and snack boards.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can kind of customize what you want your board to look like in terms of size and the cheese options, right?
I think so.
Yeah, sounds good. Another good cheese option, and she'll be on the podcast either maybe in a couple weeks when Jennifer Chandler starts. Feast and Graze with Christina McCarter. I think you can order her cheese boards at the Brooks in the cafe.
Yes. Feast and Graze is running the cafe space at the Brooks Museum. And they're also opening another brick and mortar in Poplar Plaza that's under construction right now. So that's Feast and Graze. Or you can order just like online, and she will deliver a little snack board with cheeses. So cute. Yeah, real cute. Huge shout out. Maybe we'll just go ahead and give them the trophy. Bari.
Yum.
Bari has huge list of cheeses.
A whole menu dedicated to cheese.
It's like how many? Like 70, 80, 100 cheeses? I don't know.
I can't count that high after I've had drinks at the bar.
I have actually never done that where I've ordered all the cheese. I have talked about it for years and like made plans to sort of do it. Now I've definitely ordered cheese there.
How could you order all the cheese? There's so much cheese. Maybe over a few visits.
It's like a group effort thing. It's like you got to plan it in advance.
The largest group effort.
Yes. But
it's a nice selection though.
And they're knowledgeable about it.
And the presentation is nice when they bring it out. Looks great.
Another nice fancy cheese presentation at Amelia Jean's downtown. Neither of us have been, but Joshua Carlucci did a review on this. They got a cart. They bring it out.
Look, I want this cheese cart. I want to try it. It sounds fun.
It looks like they had a cheese lady, maybe a cheesemonger, maybe just a very knowledgeable server come out. And so all the cheese is under little glass domes, and
they lift the lid.
You can
get the aroma.
Mm-hmm. That's an experience. Like,
Sounds
can you just do that there? Like, I don't need the rest. I mean, I do want the rest, but maybe
I could go just for cheese and wine.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's on the list.
It's on the list. I've had a lovely dessert cheese course at Catherine and Mary's, and I'm sure most people know that just means I'm having cheese for dessert. It's not like a cheesy dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just eating cheese at the end of my meal instead of something sweet. It was really nice there. Chez Philippe also has a really nice cheese course that you can have as your final course. And if you are vegan, our very own Bianca Phillips here at the Daily Memphian would be. I know she is excited about this place, but you've seen it.
Yeah, I saw. I'm assuming they're open now. I'm not sure, but I saw the outside. I guess it's pronounced Srimu.
Srimu.
The vegan cheese location at Crosstown Concourse. It's kind of on the other side of the wall from Sweet Magnolia Gelato. Very cute little area there. It's kind of out in the open.
Yeah, like a little bistro kind of thing.
Across from Farm Burger.
Okay, by the red staircase.
Yeah, it looks really nice. I'm pretty sure they have like vegan wine options as well, which if you didn't know that was a thing, it is.
I didn't know that.
It's a really cute location. Looks nice. I'll try it at some point. I'm not afraid of vegan cheese.
Me either. Okay, so...
Oh, we should mention, even though we haven't tried it yet, and I know it's on both of our lists, Grace.
Yes, I apologize to the world and to Grace and to certain podcast listeners that I have not been to Grace since, like, before they opened when they weren't really serving, doing their thing. I've written stories about it. It's a great spot here over in, what is this called? Williamsburg Village. That's on... Mendenhall.
It might be Mount Moriah at that point, but people know what we're talking about.
That's why I paused, because I was like, where does it flip over?
It might be Poplar where it makes the switch.
Yes. Well, it's across the street from the Half Shell, and they, I believe, sell cheese in like a retail form, and then they also have lots of great cheese plates. And I've gone a couple times, and I did not do my proper research, and they were closed. They are closed in the evenings. I try to go like on a Friday night, and then I try to go like on a Saturday night.
Their hours are a little too limited for me.
Yeah, with my work schedule right now and your work schedule right now, like, it's hard, but we will go.
I'll make it a point to go. I just wish.
And they have like a Saturday lunch sandwich thing. And I used to stalk it, but it would sell out in like 30 minutes.
Well, I remember that. Just means it's really good.
Exactly. So thank you, Grace, for being there when we're ready for you. More retail cheese. Okay, if you had to make a big charcuterie and cheese board at your house.
Which I have several times.
Yeah. Where did you go?
I'll go to a few different places.
Okay.
I'll go to Costco. For the meats, and I'll get some cheese there. But the thing about going to Costco for the cheese is if you need a variety, you're going to end up with a ton of cheese because they're selling it in bulk. So I'll go there for the meat, and then I'll go to Aldi for the cheese. I'll go to Trader Joe's even. Maybe those two places will get it done, actually, now that I say it out loud. I know you can go to Kroger. They have a nice cheese selection. You mentioned Whole Foods earlier.
Yeah. So when the Murray's cheese counter at Kroger, like in Midtown, like the Union Avenue Kroger first opened.
Was that the first Kroger location with the cheese counter? I thought it might be the one in Poplar Plaza.
You might be right. Well, Murray's cheese counter in Kroger was great at one time. It is still great, I'm sure, cheese-wise. They do have the little bins that have like the $2, $5 small slices of cheese. They have that at Fresh Market as well if you're doing a grocery store moment. But really the best, it's Whole Foods. The last time I did one of these, I did Whole Foods. And they do got them cheesemongers in there that will tell you about it, help you maybe with some pairings. I did Aldi as well and got a couple things from there. They have a lot of they have like small...
Perfect for the board.
Small slices. If you want to try like 7 different kinds, that's where you would go.
Very reasonably priced and a large variety.
Another thing, if you are making like a charcuterie situation, Buster's Butcher.
That's a good one.
Really good. It's just too convenient. All kind of deli meats,
I'm
sausages.
Glad you mentioned that.
House smoked stuff. You just, once you start talking about cheese, then you start talking about meat, then you start talking about wine. If you give a mouse a cookie,
you end up at Buster's. Which now has the East Memphis location too.
Well,
has it opened yet?
I think so.
Okay.
So Buster's, contact us if you would like to purchase that slogan. That is all the time that we have for today. Thank you for hanging in there with us while we listed our favorite cheeses. Hopefully it made you hungry for some great Memphis eats. Next week, we will be talking with and introducing our new Daily Memphian food writer, Jennifer Chandler. Love her, have worked with her here and there off and on for years, and so I'm really excited to sit down and get to know what she has planned for food coverage here. And that's the plan. So stay tuned, subscribe, and then you won't miss it. You can also tune in to WYXR every Thursday at 11 to hear sound bites. Listen, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, etc., or listen to dailymemphian.com. Big thank you to Natalie Van Gundy for talking with me today and making this happen. Thanks, y'all.
Bye.